Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So a new poll came out a couple of days ago and I felt like we had to talk about it because it was very notable. Because Donald Trump was defeating Joe Biden in this poll, a poll conducted by ABC and the Washington Post. No friends of Donald Trump, by the way. Very good friends of Joe Biden. But this poll that they conducted has Donald Trump up by 7 percentage points over Joe Biden. That is compared to just a 3-point advantage that he had in January. And this is nationwide, folks. This is the popular vote. And we could say this poll is an outlier. We could say it's unlikely that Trump actually ends up winning the popular vote by 7. Of course, we have to be cautious. But still, the fact that you're seeing more and more of these polls that have Donald Trump just going out there and trouncing Joe Biden kind of does point to the notion that anybody that's sitting back here and telling you, oh, Trump has zero chance, he's uneluctable, whatever, is lying to you. And in many cases, this is a psyop by the GOP establishment, a psyop they've tried to run ever since Trump announced and came down the escalator in 2015. And it's been proven wrong before. And at the trajectory that we're going, there's a very good chance that this notion can be proven wrong yet again. And obviously, we're going to take things into account. We know that there were some inaccurate polls in 2022 that were off in the other direction. We're going to get into it all in this video. I'm going to explain to you why Trump has a very good chance against Biden. Some may even say above a 50-50 chance, just based off of these metrics. But first, I have to tell you guys about our very good friends over at Noble Gold. Did you guys know that Bank of America is saying gold's going to go to $2,200 this year? That's an all-time high. Invest in a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments today and take advantage of this rare opportunity to secure your retirement savings. With the experts at Noble Gold Investments, you can ride the wave of gold's historic rise to financial security. This month, they're offering a solid silver 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every qualifying precious metals IRA or 401k rollover. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold Investments. Hurry and go to noblegoldinvestments.com to secure your wealth today. Again, noblegoldinvestments.com. So this poll comes out, and this is from a firm that conducted 11 polls in the 2020 election cycle back in 2019 and 2020, where they put Donald Trump up against Joe Biden. And what did those polls show on average? That Joe Biden led in the popular vote by 10 percentage points. Now things are changing. The tides are turning. And the same pollster shows Donald Trump up by 7. And this is not the only poll to show such a thing. It's not, folks. And you look at this right here. This is the RCP average of all the polls, even the polls that are not so favorable to Trump. And Donald Trump is leading Biden in the popular vote by 1. Back in 2020 in the polls, he did not lead once in the RCP average. Back in 2016, I think he led for like a day in May and then for like a few days after the RNC took place. And then he lost ground in the popular vote. But this is nationwide. And even the polls that have him down, they have him down by 2, down by 3. That would give him an electoral college victory because given trends in states like Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, etc., you name it, even if Trump does lose more ground in a state like Georgia or Arizona, states he doesn't even need to win the election, that would get Trump over the hump. He could potentially lose the popular vote by the margin that he lost it by last time and still go out there and win the general election against Biden in the Electoral College. And this is something people aren't taking into consideration whatsoever. Donald Trump was very close in 2020, contrary to what a lot of people want to say. 43,000 votes across 3 states that would have given him enough electoral votes to win the election. And you look at Biden's approval since then. He got to hide in the basement, have the media cover for him, and his approval rating at the time of the election in the exit polls, his favorability rating, was higher than Obama's in 2012 when he won with over 330 electoral votes or whatever. And it was at 52%. And his approval rating and his favorability rating, by the way, have absolutely cratered since the election. Trump's was going up for a while until mid-2022, and then the GOP establishment was just using the media to essentially turn on him, and then you had the midterms. So a lot of the ground that Trump has lost since like April 2022, where he peaked at his all-time favorability rating, has because of the fact that the GOP has been attacking him. It's not that all of these independents are just turning against him. It's mainly because of the fact that other Republicans are searching for other options, but they're not really that big in number. His approval rating hasn't really dipped a whole lot, and a lot of them are likely going to come home to Donald Trump by Election Day 2024. And this is true. Would it be enough to get him a victory over Biden? We can't underestimate Biden. You know that he is an incumbent president. He can use that executive power to do whatever he can. He could open up the emergency oil reserves again, if possible, just so he could lower the gas prices. He is not somebody that we need to underestimate. He has a very, very competent party turnout operation that the Republicans are going to have to go out there and rival. This is all true. But is he beatable? Yes. Can Donald Trump win a general election? Yes. Is Donald Trump likely going to get the Republican nomination? Absolutely. And this is true. The only argument that they have against this is 2022. They can scream it from the rooftops, and there were a lot of things that went wrong in 2022. Ironically, a lot of the people on the right, the neocons, the Republican establishment, many of which are backing Ron DeSantis right now for 2024, they had the same predictions for 2022 in the general election, and we've talked about it quite a bit on this channel. But why did we underperform in 2022? We had a turnout problem, and they can lie about it and say we didn't, but we absolutely did. Ronna McDaniel, of course, one of the reasons for the GOP underperformance in 2022, says that the party autopsy was because independents did not break for the GOP. Well, here's the problem here. It is true that when you look at the independents that voted, a lot of them did break for the Dems. But still, there are a lot of right-leaning independents, very few true independents remaining. There were plenty of right-leaning independents in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, etc., who just did not turn out to vote. And you could point to the Republican percentage of the electorate in these poorly conducted exit polls being where it should be all you want. That's fine. But the truth is there were plenty of independent voters who are disaffected, who are right-leaning independents that did not turn out to vote. Look at where the turnout drop-off was in Pennsylvania. Look at where Republicans underperformed the most in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. It was not the urban areas necessarily. It was not even the suburbs, which they'll point to. It was mainly the rural areas where you did not have high turnout because a lot of those voters don't vote in midterm years. And I think a lot of polls were wrong in some of these states in 2022 because they expected that diehard Trump-based turnout, and they just didn't. And obviously messaging is a factor. The GOP does have a branding problem with these voters, and as a result, they underperformed with them compared to a lot of people's expectations. They still retook the House, but they did not retake the Senate. And I did a whole 30-minute almost documentary on this very topic where everybody wants to put the blame on Donald Trump or his candidates. There's plenty of factors. They want to put the blame on everybody else except for themselves. And as a result, they keep losing, and this is a massive problem. But still, Donald Trump has gone out there and he said, we need to have an operation to get out the vote early. We have to ballot harvest. We have to beat the Dems at their own game, and that's how we win. And if you do that fact alone, if we did that alone in the midterms, already you would have seen the midterms go a lot more favorably for the Republican Party. There's plenty of other things that are at play here. And it's possible that the polls may be more accurate, or if anything, they may be underestimating Republicans in 2024 yet again, if Donald Trump is at the top of that ticket. Now, the only argument against this we'll see is the state polls. They'll say the state polls. Because keep in mind, the polls for 2022 nationally actually underestimated Republicans by not really a significant amount, but like by 0.3%. But they were pretty much on point. So if Donald Trump actually wins the popular vote by 1, obviously there are some undecideds not allocated in these polls. We're far out from the election. But if he wins the popular vote by 1, he easily wins the Electoral College. He possibly even wins Michigan back, even though the Michigan GOP is a disaster. He possibly wins over 300 electoral votes. Everything's great, etc., etc. But the state polls, they will say, because the state polls were off. That was the main issue for 2022. We won the popular vote, but we didn't win a lot of these swing races. And they'll say, well, some of these swing state polls don't show Trump ahead, and they show DeSantis doing better than Trump. And it's like, maybe, but a lot of those polls have been conducted from the same like pro-DeSantis internal polling firm, and there's just very few of them. We'll wait as time goes on and see, but it's very unlikely that Donald Trump is actually gaining ground nationally, but losing ground in some of these swing states, especially where a lot of his voters in 2022 just did not turn out. And that's a massive issue that the Republicans have on their hands in the future, because Trump's not going to be around forever to bail them out in some of these places. The trends in Georgia and Arizona were already baked into the cake for plenty of years. I mean, Trump accelerated them in the suburbs, one could say, but I mean, they were bound to catch up with them at some point. These changes in demography, educational trends, etc. We have a problem as a party and as a movement going ahead into the future. We have to combat that. There is plenty of concern there, and that doesn't really matter who is exactly at the top of the ticket. But this notion that Donald Trump can't win in 2024 is completely unfounded. And the polls continue to show that. And obviously the polls are flawed. Either way, the polls are flawed. I don't exactly trust them, but there's no reason to believe that if Republicans cannot compete with the Democrats in terms of their turnout operation, if they can't go out there and have the messaging that Trump has had for his 2024 campaign so far. Every policy video he's put out there has been on point. It's been ideal. He's bringing the substance, better substance than I think we've ever seen from his campaign, even back in 2016 when you look at the direct policies that he's proposed. And it's like, okay, when he gets back in the arena, gets back in the media spotlight, Biden is still massively disapproved of. It's very possible that those popular vote polls so far will come into fruition and he'll go out there and he'll defeat Joe Biden. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I don't think we need to be overly optimistic. I think we need to play like we're 5 to 10 points down regardless. So we go out there, we chase those ballots, we chase those voters, we end up winning. I don't think we need to be overconfident. We were overconfident in 2022. Didn't work out so well. And we need to be just reasonable in 2024. And I think it's very reasonable to say that Donald Trump can go out there and become the 47th president. But like I said, we do have to work for it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.